I went digging in the fridge and look what I found. I had a bunch of potatoes needed using, some mushrooms, a bunch of veggies, little odds and ends. So I made this, mushroom stew. So first thing we need is mushrooms. I had them in a big paper bag. I'm not even sure how much is there, pound and a half. You keep them in a paper bag, don't you? It's the best way to do it. So I'm going to chop these up into quarters because this is kind of our meat and I really do need to get rid of them. They're just regular button mushrooms. So give them a wash, give them a chop, and there we go. That's pretty well it. Put it aside. So I had some onions because for some reason we kept chopping onions, leaving a little bit and not using them. So I had a few odds and ends of onions. We're going to chop them all up so that way we can use them in the stew. It's going to work out to about a cup of finely chopped onions. Hey, you want to do them coarse, do them coarse. It's like anything in a stew, right? Whatever you want to throw in is good, especially if you like it. There's all our onions. We'll put in a container till we need them. I'm trying to be careful so I don't spill them all over the place, which I always do. And you can see there that's about half full, so that's 1 cup. And we'll put that aside. Next up, I had some beans, some yellow and green beans, about a cup's worth. But we need a bunch more, so the recipe actually called for carrots and peas. All I had was this frozen mix bag of carrots, peas, and corn, so we'll put that aside. Our potatoes are next, about that many, 2 pounds-ish. So I'm going to slice them up. There's a couple bad parts in it, we get rid of them. And you want them to be somewhat consistent as far as size goes. I'm never really completely consistent with them. I probably should be, but I like to mix them up a little bit. And you know, they're all going to cook anyway. It's all going to mush into a great stew. I don't know if I've ever had a stew without potatoes. I guess you could. It'd be more like a veggie stew. Anyway, there's our potatoes. Yummy. We're going to put that in a bowl with cold water. Rinse it a couple times, get some of the starch out. And here we are. Our potatoes are ready till we need them. We'll put them aside. Now over to our stove. Here's the pot we're going to be using for our stew. A little bit of oil at the bottom, 2 tablespoons-ish. Put it on medium heat. Don't wait forever like I did. I let it get too hot. There's our onions. Only half though. I only put half in because my kids kind of like half cooked, half raw. Completely different tastes. It's just the way they like it. So over time, if I get a bunch of onions, I'll saute half and leave the other half raw. Oh, we need some garlic. There's 1, 2, 3 cloves of garlic, all nice and minced. And we're going to put that in with our onions. And mix, 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 mix. Now you don't want to let the garlic cook for too long. Gave it about a minute. And it's starting to smell really good. Onion and garlic smell is fantastic. Now, we just put a little bit more oil in, and that's a 1/4 cup of flour. And we're going to cook this for another couple minutes till it starts to brown up a little bit. There. Okay, now you got to do this next one fairly quick. This is the fun part. Our measuring mug's out, and to it we're going to do about a 1/2 cup of red wine that I had sitting in the fridge. Remember, this is use stuff up in the fridge day. So watch this thing sizzle. I had a little too much. That's okay. The alcohol is going to evaporate anyway. So we'll put in all that red wine. Now it smells like garlic and wine. Pretty cool, actually. Wine's not something I normally cook with. I have on occasion, but it's a nice change. It gives it a different flavor. So you can see here with the flour, it's all got no... It's almost a consistent of goo. But It's okay. We've scraped the bottom. We get all the stuff off. Okay. Okay, into the pot goes 2 cups of, well, it's your choice, vegetable stock or, chicken stock, I guess you could use if you wanted, but this is pure vegetarian, this one, so we're going to stir it till it's combined, and this still has to come up to a boil again, or a good simmer, I guess. And to that, we're also going to add all of our mushrooms. Yummy. We'll give that a mix. And of course, a couple dashes of Worcestershire sauce, to your preference. Maybe you don't like Worcestershire sauce, maybe you can't eat it. And we're also going to add about a teaspoon-ish of ground thyme. If you got rosemary, throw that in too. Okay, we're going back up to a simmer. Here's the rest of our onions. And here's our veggies, our 2 cups of veggies. Like I said, you want to put 3 in? Go ahead. By all means, I probably would have liked it that way too, with a little more, maybe some asparagus ends or more beans, maybe some more carrots. It depends. Now we're going to mix all this together because we're getting near the finish line. We got to bring it back up to a simmer, let it cook. And of course it is going to thicken as the potatoes cook and everything else renders down. You just want to keep stirring because the last thing you want is a big, mess on the bottom. So here we are, we got it up to a boil, and we're going to occasionally stir it just to make sure everything's coming together fine. And normally if I'm making a stew, once I get everything combined and cooked, I'm going to let it sit on the stove with no heat on for an hour or two. You don't want to make this when you're hungry, but just long enough to let everything melt. So this time I didn't. We gave it about a half an hour to let everything happen. Now we put some salt and pepper in, to your taste, of course. However much you want or don't want, it's up to you. My dad used to make it so that he wouldn't spice it on purpose. You can put your own salt and pepper in. Now our potatoes are cooked. Everything's pretty well ready to go. We bring it back up to a nice simmer. Man, this is smelling really good. Give it a stir, see how it's all coming together. It sure looks nice. And of course it will thicken up as you let it sit. It's only runny when you first make it. I find stew ends up thickening up real quick once it starts cooling down a bit. And for sure it'll be thick come next day if you got any leftovers. We'll turn the element off, put the lid on. We are just about ready. Let it sit for a little while longer. Let's get a bowl of stew going. I'm kind of hungry at this point. 2 nice scoops. I got lots of everything. The funny thing is I kept looking for the meat because I've never made it without meat. There it is, our mushroom stew. Full of everything you're going to like. And then some. Now it's time to dig in. Hey, another great recipe. I hope you'll give it a try. Leave me a comment below, one way or the other. Listen, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell because that'll tell you the next time I upload a video. Feel free to share this and any of my other videos. And thanks for stopping by and watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.